Breaking royal news, Catherine and William testify against Harry. An explosive move dragged Wales to court. It was widely reported that the royal family were on tenterhooks as Prince Harry took to the stand last week in his legal fight with the UK press over alleged phone hacking. But according to royal insiders, it was the Prince and Princess of Wales who were feeling the most nervous as Harry dropped bombshell after bombshell during the courtroom showdown. The source reports they're in completely uncharted waters here and have no idea what to expect, with some questioning whether William and Catherine could even be summoned. William could easily be a key witness in some of these incidents, and he could, in theory, be called upon to clarify some of the details. So far, the bombshells that Harry has been dropping have been limited to the inner offices of Clarence House, but palace officials are worried that there is more to come. Royal expert Phil Dampier spoke with Women's Day, saying that the royals will be wishing Harry puts a sock in it for good. Mr. Dampier went on to say that the royals would have been looking on in horror as Harry gave evidence and made a fool of himself. He said Harry is once again washing dirty linen in public. It was totally unnecessary for him to bring up James Hewitt again. To say he couldn't be sure Hewitt wasn't his father until he was 30 means he is trashing Diana's reputation and raking up a painful past. And according to a separate insider, Catherine and William are, quote, genuinely worried about Harry in spite of the humiliation that he is causing them. The decisions that Harry is making and the fights that he's choosing to engage in are very risky. There is not much to gain from doing this, according to the source. The source says the whole thing is turning into a circus, and the Queen must be rolling over in her grave. In court, Harry also singled out Piers Morgan. So what, is he trying to make Meghan happy? I truly believe that this court date was supposed to demean Piers and destroy his career. Just another PR game by the delusional pair. Harry's wife ghosted Piers, and he, as a result, called her out, as he should have. And he continues to call the two of them out, and you know what? I am glad that he does. Now, in spite of the fact that Mr. Morgan is friends with the tabloids, I really believe that deep down he's a good person, and I think he sees right through that evil witch Meghan Markle. Now, at some point, Meghan burned a very useful bridge when she decided to go after Piers Morgan. Faye does have an interesting way of dealing with things like that. To be honest with you, I have never been a big fan of tabloids or paparazzi or gutter press or reality exposés, so in the beginning I didn't necessarily like Mr. Morgan or his type. But what I despise even more is any attempt to curtail freedom of speech, expression, and movement, because I understand that messing with freedom of speech is the first step to tyranny. Harry and Meghan complain that they don't like what the media has to say about them. Well, then maybe they should look at their own behavior a little more. If they think that everything they do, everything they say is right, then maybe they should just ignore the media and not read what people are saying about them. Are they so arrogant that they believe everybody should just love them? Are they above criticism somehow? I just don't understand what their agenda is here. Because seriously, how do they think they're going to stop every publication out there from writing what they believe to be true, even if it's the opposite of Meghan and Harry's truth? And if Harry thinks that the First Amendment is bonkers, then I'm afraid he is living in the wrong country. Maybe somewhere like Saudi Arabia or Russia would be more attractive to him. Better for Meghan, too. Meghan would probably love living in a place filled with oligarchs. The press has to be free in a free country. If the press is not free, then the people are not either. And if they're trying to claim that their behavior and their lies generate money for the press, then the fault does not really lie with them or with the media. Instead, it's our fault. If we don't buy into their BS and we really ignore them, then they're going to eventually fade away. So I do understand the argument that maybe the consumers need to change first. Meghan did try to ruin Piers Morgan already, but she didn't succeed. I mean, the right wing in America and Piers are a lot more powerful than Meghan Markle is. At this point, Piers has his own show and he's doing great. Meghan believed that she could silence him. Well, I guess they assumed that silencing him all the negativity was going to stop. But I think the negativity has only gotten a lot worse since they came to the US. They made themselves even bigger targets, not only for the press in Britain, but also in America people joined in. When they moved to the US, I was kind of hoping that they would leave the media spotlight, that they would focus on their private lives, on their family, focus on their charitable causes, and be a lot more like George and Amal Clooney, for example. But instead, they decided to go to the media capital of the entire world and force themselves into the media with all their lies, constantly whining over absolutely nothing. I lost all respect for Oprah for giving them that ridiculous interview, and what a slap in the face that they just assumed that Americans wouldn't see through their BS. Meghan is a user and an abuser. Meghan was the one who contacted Piers Morgan in the first place. She flattered him, she acted all shy and coy, pretended like she needed his help to be introduced to people when she first came to the UK. Well, then she met Harry, and like everybody who comes into her life and is no longer useful to her, he got cancelled. Because he let it be known that Meghan is incredibly vengeful. It's similar to the way that she did go after the late Queen when the late Queen dared to stand up to her. See, Meghan's problem with Piers Morgan is that he saw through her from the very beginning. Piers Morgan just tells it like it is. If the truth hurts somebody, well, he doesn't care. He doesn't tell any lies. He's not one to mince words. In fact, he can read idiots very well. And he doesn't engage in arguments about his statements either. Piers Morgan is not afraid to state his case and to state the truth, actually. He can spot a lying hypocrite like Meghan Markle a mile away, and he's not afraid to say that. He doesn't care if he loses his job. He'd rather do that than lie. So this whole ridiculous charade is just Harry's attempt to beat Piers Morgan. He can't even remember reading any of the articles. Harry lies every single time he opens his mouth. If you look at that witness statement and compare it against what he says in Spare, which supposedly was the truth, either he is lying in that or he's lying in the witness statement. I mean, they contradict each other, so he's got to be lying somewhere. It looks like things are changing for Harry, though. He's not as special as he believes he is anymore. Many people around the world, not just me, have come to the conclusion that whenever Harry or Meghan open their mouths, a lie is going to come out. And I am still worried about those invisible kids. I mean, if they are real, the parents are ruining their lives. And those lives have just started, so how sad is that? Harry really showed how dumb and arrogant he really is. The fact that Harry told the court that they had to call him Prince Harry makes me believe that Harry assumes just because he is a prince, that's going to automatically protect him, and the judge is going to be biased because he is the son of the king. If Harry wins, it is not going to look good for the British judges. It's going to be very disappointing, actually. First of all, Meghan lied and she got away with it. And as for Harry deciding to call out Piers Morgan by name, obviously he is just trying to get revenge because Meghan told him he needed to do that. Maybe at some point in time he will be able to rebuild some of the bridges that he has burned, some, but I don't think all of them. I think some bridges are never going to be able to be rebuilt, though, because of Harry's absurd behavior and also the lies that he has told time and time again, and that he has allowed Meghan to tell about his own family. To a certain point, I can understand people who do not want to rebuild bridges with Harry. I have had family members tell lies about me for a long time. They're still my family, though, and I do love them, but I'm not going to engage with them, because everything with Harry and Meghan has a condition. Nothing can ever be just given or offered. There is always some type of hidden cost. And the thing is, some costs are just too high. You don't want to pay that price. And that is Harry's fault for creating this entire mess. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.